right! So, what are we doing here? Well, coming into 2023, my New Year's resolution was to be more metal. And that's exactly what I did. So, throughout the year, I tried my very darndest to stay on top of all the brand new metal releases throughout. And now that we've come to the end of the year, I want to do a top 10. This is going to be more on the underground side of things. So, Cattle to Cap released an incredible album this year, as we all know. It's not going to be here. Avatar, one of my favourite albums ever, and I got to see him this year and they blew my head off. But they're also not going to be here because I want to give a bit more shine to some artists that aren't getting enough appreciation, and they're blowing my mind and I want them to blow everyone else's mind. And you may disagree on what constitutes underground or not. I don't really care. And the same with genre. I use it to describe things. I don't use it for boundaries of what music fits into. But hey, it's all metal, and we all love metal, that's why we're here. So enough of my blabbing, here's the top 10. Ritual Awakening, Yakye. This album came out of nowhere and put me on my butt. It's a one-man project from California, and this dude must be so inspired because he is constantly putting out music. I would describe it like peak Danny Filth singing for a blackened melodic death metal band with soaring lead guitars and these pummeling riffs underneath that all come together into this package that just keeps me coming back for more. And that album cover, man, jeez. Unreal. Here's a clip of one of the cool-ass soaring lead guitar melodies that are scattered throughout the album. There's a lot of instrumental passages throughout the album as well, even some instrumental tracks, so if that ain't for you, might give this one a skip, but it works well for this album and it works well for me. That's my number 10. Anima Heretic, Descended from the Mountains. Man, that was from the title track and that chorus is in my head all the time. This band managed to combine some of my favourite parts of like epic symphonic black metal with some of the more brutal, harsher Melodeath stuff, and it just hits me in the exact right place. The riffs are catchy, the vocals are catchy, yet they still manage to surprise. Like in this next clip, it keeps going to different places that I'm not expecting. It seems to go darker and more evil, and then out of nowhere it's triumphant. Finns do it right, man. They are so good at metal. So good. That was my number 9. Tail Gunner, Guns for Hire. Now this is how you do trad metal in 2023. Jez Louise! I usually tend to steer away from modern trad metal stuff because the best trad metal's already been done a long time ago and I can just listen to that. But this band from England injects something super fresh into the mix. The vocals are outstanding, some harsher highs with some smooth melodic lows, just belting out these amazing melodies throughout the album. The melodies seem to be pushing into new areas and creating a unique modern energy, and I think that's where this band stands out. They're heavily inspired by the past, but they're not prisoners of it. Plus, their shit is super catchy. Check out this pre-chorus for their song Warhead. It's just a pre-chorus, but for a lot of bands, this would be the chorus. You live you're looking for something old school with a brand new coat of paint that modernizes things without losing the charm, this is the band for you. They've got a huge future. That was my number 8. Crystal Coffin, The Curse of Immortality. Now I stumbled on this one when I was scrolling through the metal Reddit in the new releases thread, and someone said, if you like the new Moonlight Sorcery album, you're gonna love this. And I was like, well, I do love the new Moonlight Sorcery album. And this sounds nothing like it. But I'm damn glad I gave it a go because I like it even more. This Canadian band has everything I want in modern metal. They keep a brutal, aggressive black metal bass, while sprinkling in subtle nuances of electronic synth passages. Then they'll surprise you with a left hook out of nowhere. Like in this song Final Breaths, they've got this clean vocal passage.
Once I died, no more world now with your life. Forget about me, not all I've done. I tried my best, but the darkness won.
I love that bit so fucking much. This album has such a cool sound and so many excellent moments that I know I'll be listening to it for years to come. And that is my number 7. And oceans. As in gardens, so in tombs. The Finns are here again because I guess they just make the best metal. This one came out in January and has not left my rotation. The melancholic melodies scattered throughout this gorgeous trance-like black metal album have me shaking my head in disbelief at times. But what I really love is when they just throw in some weird moments, where it sounds like it's going into an electric sort of beat, or with some piano that you're not expecting. That's what I love in metal. I think that's what impacted me the most about this album, when I'm just surprised. I wasn't expecting something. And this album has it in spades. Here's a clip that has one of my favourite melodies or progressions of the year. It's freaking haunting, man. There was a lot of amazing black metal that was released this year, but I feel like this album stands head and shoulders above it all. I think it was because they were unafraid to explore past the boundaries. And that was my number 6. Mariana's Rest, Hour. I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to keep saying Hour. What do you know? Finland again. That country must be full of melancholy because they're the best at creating that sound. It's like a ghost screaming into your soul. This has everything I love about Death Doom, especially modern Death Doom, where it's becoming a lot more melodic. It has its passages where it pays homage to like Turn Loose the Swans era of My Dying Bride, but it sounds so fresh and modern. I especially love this song, Fear Travels Fast. The album ends on a bit of a strange note with the song Sirens, which features Aaron Stainthorpe of My Dying Bride, one of my all-time favourite bands. I feel like this might have been a joint idea to have him sort of reciting poetic passages over a softer, cleaner song, and if I'm in the mood for it, I'm loving it. But it's at the end of the album, which works for me. The reason it works for me is because if I want to stop at track 7, the album still feels complete and I can enjoy it. But if I'm in the mood, yeah, let's listen to him. Let's get deep. It is cool to hear Aaron's voice on this music though, and I can't wait for the new My Dying Bride album. But this is about Mariana's Rest, and boy howdy do I love this album. And that's why it's my number 5. Ulamog, the hungriest of the old ones. I'm so freaking excited about this band, and I'm so freaking excited to tell people about this band. If you haven't listened to them, go do it right now. I mean, holy fucking shit, what? There's been a lot of great thrash metal releases this year, but none have touched this. It blows my mind that they're just this very young band from Virginia in the States. This is their debut album, and they're already masters of thrash. It is legitimately the best thrash metal album I have heard in years. I'm not exaggerating. The production makes the songs feel old school, but with modern production techniques so I can hear everything perfectly. It's not drowned out in any sort of way, and the mix is excellent. There's enough polish on it so you can hear every riff and solo clearly, and the drums... Oh, the drums. Holy potatoes is the drumming good on this album. They create such incredible dynamics so that you're always headbanging, like in this part. And bonus clip because they created one of my favourite riffs ever, which leads into this absolute foot stomper. If you enjoy old school thrash or you like the newer stuff like Power Trip or Enforced, this is the band for you. Ulamog is just a young group of dudes who get it, and they are killing it, and they have such a big future. I can't wait to see where they go. But even if this was the only thing they ever did, I would be playing this for the rest of my life. And that is why it is my number 4. Celestial Sanctuary, Insatiable Thirst for Torment. This album has had a lot of hype this year, and it is oh so deserved. I hadn't even heard of this band before this, but the first time I heard it, I knew they were special. This English band have managed to create an old school death metal sound that stands out from the rest of the pack. They can pummel you if they want. They can throw you spiraling into a pit of despair if they want. They can make your head spin with brutal melodic madness if they want. I love how this next song starts. It's like it grinds into your organs and just makes you want to... This is super creative, super heavy, super metal. It never gets old on repeat. It's a timeless album that will go down as a classic of the genre. And that is why it is my number 3. Concatenation, Existence Full of Promises. I'm betting you haven't heard of this one. I have tried to pump it up around the net, but I can't see anyone giving it anywhere near enough hype. This is one of my favourite metal albums of all time, and I've never heard anything like it. Concatenation are from Poland, and this is their second full-length album. That first clip you heard is sort of their standard sound that permeates through the album, but then they just take you on different journeys that makes every song feel like it sort of exists in its own universe. Feels like you're on an adventure through some sort of metal mist. For instance, in one particularly brutal song, it suddenly changes into an almost Gregorian chant-like passage that I absolutely adore. And then, just when you thought you've heard it all, the final song on the album has a saxophone solo. And this solo is so delicious and moody, and the first time I heard it, I laughed, because I was like, I wasn't expecting this, but it's so perfect. In no galaxy was I prepared for that solo, but Jez Louise was I happy that it was there. Here's a taste. So if any of what I just said to you appeals to you, please, 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 please go out and listen to Concatenation. I implore you. This album is a masterpiece. And that is why it is my number 2. Fires in the Distance, Air Not Meant for Us. I've got a feeling that these 4 lads from Connecticut are going to be in a lot of top 10 album lists at the end of this year. And they 100% deserve it. It's not often a band comes along, especially in the current day, and they sound exactly like them. They've created an entire sound to themselves that as soon as you hear 5 seconds of it, you're like, that's them. I think of bands like Typo Negative or Gojira. You instantly know who it is, and no one else can replicate it. That's Fires in the Distance. What I love about their sound is, while everyone else in the metal world would use melodic synth and piano leads as exactly that, leads to float on top of the music, they use it as their foundation. It's like the arpeggiated synth lines are like a dance floor with lights shooting up that the rest of the music is dancing on top of. It's hard to explain, but it creates this fullness that allows you to focus on the heavy, crunching riffs while this atmosphere is just building around you without you quite noticing. They also wrote my absolutely favourite riff of the year. It's so impressive what they've managed to achieve with this album, and it stands head and shoulders above everything else released this year. It is a worthy number 1, and I doubt I'll be the only one to put it there. This album will be talked about as one of the top albums of the decade. Good work, fellas. You're my number 1. And that's that. My top 10 of the year. My first ever one of these sort of videos. I hope you enjoyed the list, and if anything tickled your pickle, go check it out. Support them, spread the word. I'm trying my best, so I hope you do as well. Because metal is about community, it's about telling everyone what you love, and getting excited about it. Let's all get excited about it. Focus on what you love. And stay metal.